All right, welcome back. Quickly, the news of the day video here for you guys. Before I get into it, I just want to mention that they have released now the schedule for the entire DPC. Of course, in the lower division, we don't have the entire schedule yet, just a fraction of it, because there are still some teams that haven't qualified yet. There's still open qualifiers going on. But as for the upper division, we have the entire schedule going up, and throughout the next couple of days, I'm going to be doing all sorts of previews and stuff like that, including I'm going to be doing a series where I do a weekly preview, probably every Sunday, basically just previewing all the matches to come this next week, maybe highlighting some of the more important ones, some of the bigger ones and stuff like that, and updating the standings and stuff like that as I go along. So yeah, if you guys are at all interested in that, again, just feel free to subscribe, as I do more content than just news, and it's just because of how hectic the Dota world has been that I've basically just been doing news videos for the past, well, pretty much a month since TI ended. But yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to jump into it, mainly coming from just two regions, those being Southeast Asia and North America. Starting off, Talon Esports. This is the team I've kind of been covering in my news videos for the past little while, just because of how much popularity is surrounding their team for an open qualifier team. It's not as often we have such a huge light being shined on open qualifiers, especially when it's to mainly Tier 2 and Tier 3 teams. But notably, I'd covered that they lost in the first open qualifiers. They finished top 4. They didn't quite make it past the semifinals. They lost to the team that actually made it in, which was Ragdolls. But last night in the second open qualifiers, they did manage to win. It was a pretty convincing win. I caught the first series that they played against Interactive Philippines. I definitely can say that their play definitely did not look like a Tier 1 team quite yet, which is understandable. It's to be expected. They are a new team, but they did outclass their opponents, and it did still look like a very strong team. And I'm sure with time, these guys will be a very, very scary stack to play against. And I, again, would be surprised if they don't end up in that upper division by the end of the first tour. So yeah, Talon, good to see them making it through. If they had lost yesterday, they were already in the top 4 before yesterday started, because they had to play in the best of 3 semifinals and then the best of 3 finals. If they had lost because of Omega being banned yesterday for match fixing, they would have had a chance to play in the closed qualifiers with the other 3 losing teams. So they finished first place yesterday, but those 3 remaining teams from the top 4 yesterday are going to play in a miniature closed qualifier tournament for that last spot. So again, a lot of open spots all of a sudden in a bunch of different regions now. And speaking of Omega, they've come out and put out a statement. It kind of read like some classic PR move of like a company that doesn't want to just get completely screwed over in the Dota scene immediately. They basically had just talked about how they didn't get an official copy of the of either the evidence or any of the match fixing related accusations towards them or anything like that, and that they actively condemn match fixing, which of course, you know, whether or not that's true, any company is going to come out and say that, especially if they're just trying to save their asses. You know, it's just some classic PR stuff. But I thought I'd throw it in here because, well, of course, it is kind of newsworthy that they didn't get anything from Valve before the actual bans came through. So maybe they're in the right there. I've talked about the fact that Valve is usually very, very secretive with their decision making when it comes to stuff like this and scandals and stuff. I know there was a story a few months back with a Demon basically coming out and accusing Valve for banning him, even though he wasn't presented with any of the evidence that they used against him. So again, that's something that might be up for discussion. We'll have to see. Next up, again, speaking of more drama coming out from this Omega thing, which really shook up Southeast Asia for a little while here. Of course, one of the members of that Omega team that ended up leaving after the match fixing scandal, being Van, he got picked up by Execration, another team in the Tier 1 or upper division of Southeast Asia. Because he was on that team and he was getting banned, Execration obviously couldn't play with him anymore. He was now banned, so they had to pick up a new position 3, and they've signed Kimizu, a player that I don't believe partook in the last DPC. I could be wrong about that. He might have been a lower division team player. But yeah, so of course they had until the 28th or the 29th to find a new player. I believe it was the 28th because the season starts the 29th. But they managed to get one in pretty much less than 24 hours. So hopefully this ends up working out for them. I know it wasn't their first choice because obviously they couldn't go with their first choice. But regardless, Execration still looking like one of the better teams that are in that upper division. We'll just have to see how it plays out. So yeah, that kind of does it for the little bit of a shakeup we've had in Southeast Asia for the past 24 hours since or in the wake of Omega's ban. Now moving to North America, where we've got some more drama going on with it when it comes to DPC slots. Of course, a few days ago we had the drama, or actually probably around a week ago now, we had the drama revolving around Eternal Envy and him owning a DPC slot. However, he didn't have a team to play with, and he also wasn't going to be playing himself anymore. So he gave it away to a stack of players that he was either good friends with or paid him. There's no evidence to suggest that they actually paid him so far, so it's seeming like he just gave the slot up to maybe some people that he knew. That stack being 4 female players and 1 male player. It was made a big deal mainly because of the fact that this slot was given to them, and they are quite low rank. They're around 4k MMR, so it was taking a precious DPC slot away from some of these higher MMR players, some of these higher skilled players that only have 3 opportunities throughout the entire year to get into the DPC, and they just would be wasting one of those 3 tries. So yeah, revolving that drama, there was a lot going on. A lot of people dug up some of the things that they had done in the past, and the one male player on the team notably had some sexual assault allegations pulled up against him from a few years ago. And from what I heard, none of the female players on the team knew about these accusations toward him. Since then, he has actually stepped down from the team, and whether or not it's because of that or not, the team has been disqualified from the DPC. Again, it's not clear whether or not him leaving the team, meaning that they had no longer had a player, was the reason why they get disqualified. They shouldn't get disqualified because, again, they have until the 28th to finalize their roster if they have at least 4 members. But again, maybe Valve just stepped in and saw that there was some wrongdoing here and saw that this needed to be banned. However, as shady as this whole situation is, I don't think it would have been the right thing for Valve to step in and ban them manually, just because there are a lot of implications that may be stepping over some other teams. Like, for example, OG this year has a completely brand new roster, yet they're still playing under OG and they're still in that upper division, despite the fact that none of them played for OG the year prior. And so if bumblbees gets banned, why doesn't the new OG stack get disqualified? You know, something like that. So I'm thinking it's more because of the whole sexual assault allegation things from Hotaruz is the reason why they got disqualified. But again, that even then just seems really shady because they still have a few days to finish up their roster if they just needed to replace someone. So again, kind of strange, but now there's 3 open slots in the North American DPC. We've already had 2 open qualifier winners, and now there's just 1 spot remaining in that lower division of North America. So I guess we'll see how that plays out. And last little bit of news, Arkosh Gaming, of course, we heard from them that there's going to be some moves being made by them. They, of course, lost their mid laner, Shaggy. He, of course, having joined Black and Yellow now. Arkosh were left without a few players, especially since also before TI, they had Owie standing in for them for a little while. Well, they've gone ahead and they've signed Monkeys Forever and Kyle. Of all players, they've gone with them. Of course, Monkeys Forever previously on Simply 2 based, a team that did pretty well for themselves. They finished 3-4, I believe, in the last season of the North American Upper Division. And Kyle, coming out of what I would consider maybe a retirement. He's, of course, been a huge part of the talent scene for Dota for a few years now, being a mixture between a caster, analyst, just a panelist, a talent of any sort. He's been great, and it looks like, based on Wikipedia, he's going to be coming out of that. He's going to be playing with Arkosh. So this is going to be a little strange, given that Kyle hasn't played competitively in like 3 years now. However, Monkeys Forever and Kyle do have history together. They used to play together on Complexity way back in the day, and it's unclear which one of these 2 players is going to be playing mid. Both of these players have experience as mid, and yeah, we'll have to see how this goes for Arkosh. But again, those are the only 2 roster changes. I know that BSJ is one of the players on the team, and this is a North American team, and he, of course, is now based in Europe. So it's going to be a little strange that they have players kind of all over the place, and they're still going to be competing together. So yeah, I know this is a real amateur approach team. It's not really a team that's really trying to be one of the best of all time. It's very similar to Gork's stack, Team Bald Reborn, where they are very, very high-skilled players. They're all playing together, but they're not actively practicing. They don't have a coach. They're just kind of having fun, making some money in the TPC, and you know, generally just having a good time. And they are, again, some very skilled players, and it's nice to see some familiar faces on the streamer side of things in the DPC. So yeah, that's going to do it for news of the day here. Again, previews coming up later this week. If you guys don't want to miss that, feel free to subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later tomorrow with another video. Bye.